Round one of the 2025 NFL Draft is in the books, and usually that means mock drafts are completely done. Not here on the PFF NFL YouTube channel. We're doing a full day two mock draft picks, 33 through 102 after the first round of the NFL Draft. Max Chadwick, Gordon McGuinness, Mason Cameron, Dalton Wasserman here. An insane first round. Gordon and Mason, since you weren't here on the desk for the show, I want to get your favorite picks, maybe most surprising picks you got from the Thursday night of action.
Most surprising for me, Donovan Jackson to the Minnesota Vikings. Probably most surprising because I thought they were going to move down. I like the pick. I like the fit. It's just the not having the additional picks that I thought the Vikings really needed. So was a little bit surprised that they weren't, especially when you saw the trade-ups that came just after them, that they weren't able to capitalize on that.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, look, we all expected them to be a prime trade-down candidate, but it takes two to tango, right? If nobody was feeling like, hey, they're asking for too much to move down a certain amount, then the Vikings did the next best thing they could do, and I think get a surefire starter at that left guard spot. And boy, their offensive line looks good going into the season, doesn't it?
Mason, what do you got?
Oh man, being a Denver native, I've gotta give a shout out to Johnny Barron there. Just pairing up a duo of absolutely dynamic corners is going to make that a scary secondary out there. I think for most surprising, I think we're all shocked to see Shedeur fall past Pittsburgh. He was going to be probably the best fit there in my opinion, and now they're kind of against the clock with trying to find a quality passer to head this offense.
Yeah, not too happy about that as a lifelong Steelers fan. A lot of great players went off the board in round one, but we still have a ton of incredible players left here on day two. Of course, we're going live on the PFF NFL YouTube channel for rounds 2 and 3 when they're making the picks. But let's do our own little mock draft here. So I guess you want to just go right down the order here. Gordon will take the first pick here with the Cleveland Browns, number 33 overall. They took Mason Graham after trading down from the number 2 overall pick. Will they take Shedeur Sanders here, or will they go somewhere else?
This is where, for Cleveland, you can build a really, really nice draft now. Having 33 and 36, and just before we came on air, we talked about this a little bit, and we said, wouldn't it be nice to take the risk on Shedeur falling to 36, and you can go and get a Luther Burden who's probably not going to make it through those next 2 picks. I think though you look at the board and you say, if you're Cleveland, how much do you want to risk that Shedeur does make it? No one trades up, those next couple of spots, and you look at who they have on the board. If you're Cleveland and you go Shedeur at 33, Mike Green's there, Will Johnson's there, Luther Burden there, Donovan Ezeraku, there's 4 guys I feel really good about at 36. So I think we have to go with Shedeur here as the pick at 33.
The big risk is the Saints moving up from 40 to 35 and jumping up and making a trade with Tennessee. And Tennessee probably wouldn't mind trading back because they don't pick from I think 35 right now is their only day 2 pick that they have, I want to say. It would make a lot of sense for both sides there. So I'm with you. And this is if they like Shedeur much better than, say, Jalen Milroe. If they like them both about even, maybe they take a different player at 33 because you got that 36 pick from the Jags. And look, I think we're going to debate them passing on Travis Hunter for a long time, but they got a really darn good package from Jacksonville. That includes that 36 pick. It gives them a lot of options here in these first 4.
Absolutely. I just want to remind people, by the way, you can see right there on the PFF mock draft simulator, we have filled out the first round with all the picks that just occurred. If you want to do your own mock draft yourself for the second, third, if you want to go all full 7 rounds too, if you're a true sicko, you could do it with the PFF mock draft simulator with the first round players already taken. So go check it out at pff.com/mock. So Shedeur Sanders off the board there at number 33 overall. He will be the talk of the town heading into Friday night of the NFL Draft. Mason, you have the Houston Texans here traded down to the number 34 overall pick with the Giants taking Jackson Dart in the first round. What would the Texans do here?
It's a tough look there because they were probably hoping Josh Simmons was going to fall to them there. They go offensive tackle. That would be a little bit of a reach possibly. So, I think we could potentially take a talented receiver off the board with Luther Burden there, or even, somebody that I love in Jaden Higgins, but they don't exactly need an X receiver. So I think that Luther Burden would probably be an excellent pick there.
Love that.
That's a talent play right there. And I think that I was just looking at it. The next ranked offensive lineman remaining on at least the PFF big board is Tate Ratledge at number 68 because Tyler Booker went off the board, because Donovan Jackson went off the board, Gray Zabel's off the board. So the Texans are in a tough spot if they want offensive line, but I still think defensive tackle is also a possibility, but Burton's a great value bet. He should have been a first-round pick. He's so dynamic, and maybe the role changes a little bit with Christian Kirk in the slot, and Burton's got to play the Z, but he's dynamic, and you talk about just adding another weapon with Nico Collins and C.J. Stroud. We'll worry about the protection later in day 2. We'll probably get there when we get to 58 for the Texans. Love that pick for Burton.
All right, number 35 overall, the Tennessee Titans now on the clock. They're taking Cam Ward, number 1. Luther Burden would have been a dream pick for them at number 35. Dalton, but what are you going to do here?
Yeah, I would have taken Burden if he was there. Props to you, Mason. But look, this team has a serious need for pass rush off the edge. I love their D-tackle group. We got some darn good edge rushers. Big story here early on, I think, for a team like Tennessee, possibly Cleveland, New England, not Chicago. They took Shamar Stewart, right? So even the Saints, if they want to go that route, I'll take the best player, I think, that's left on our PFF big board. I had him as edge 2 coming into this. I'll take Mike Green to Tennessee. I think to get Cam Ward, obviously, as your quarterback, and then to get Mike Green. And again, I think keep in mind this could still, even if it's not the Saints, this could still be a trade down spot because I think this is Tennessee's only day 2 pick. I could see them trading down, getting more picks, but if they stick a player like Mike Green or maybe even Davin Ezeraku, makes a lot of sense for him.
I really wondered if the story after day 1 was going to be the Tennessee Titans take quarterback and pass on Travis Hunter and they pass on Abdul Carter with the first overall pick. And I wondered if we were going to hit the point where Shadur was still on the board at the top of the second round and we were having the conversation around should they have taken Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter number 1 overall and then taken Shadur. I think the way this board is shaped up, though, getting your quarterback with the first overall pick and probably having a shot at one of Mike Green or Donovan Ezeraku, it's fallen really nicely for the Tennessee Titans.
And if for any reason, let's say the Browns and Texans went Burden and one, I mean, they're going to have one of the edge rushers. Or if they both go Green and Ezeraku the first, then take Luther Burden and get Cam Ward.
Nick Scorton's still there, too.
The Titans are in a win-win with this. I really think so.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a team that's considering Abdul Carter at number 1 overall back at the NFL Combine when we were there. They took Cam Ward, obviously. But, I mean, you get Mike Green there in the second round. That's a great pick there for the Tennessee Titans. By the way, PFF Plus is 25% off for you guys right now. So go take advantage of that sale that we got going on right now. You get full access to our mock draft simulator, a bunch of fancy tools, of course, for fantasy football season as well. All of it is available with the PFF Plus subscription. Now 25% off using the promo code DRAFT25 as well. So go to subscribe.pff.com. Take advantage of that deal. I am up here, number 36 overall. Cleveland Browns are on the clock once again. They took Mason Graham. They took Shedeur Sanders. Oh, I really want to get Will Johnson to the Raiders because I think that's just the best possible draft for them. But I don't know how I could pass up Will Johnson here if I'm Cleveland. So I'm taking Will Johnson. I hate to do it because I really would love to get Ashton Jeanty and Will Johnson just to make the home run of all home run drafts for the Raiders. But I'm going to go with Will Johnson here to the Browns.
There's still other good corners here if Gordon wants to go there with the Raiders because with Trey Amos was a guy maybe could have gone first round. Ben Morrison is really good. There's options here, and I think if the Raiders want Will Johnson, that maybe trade up a couple of spots. But Johnson's such an interesting story with whatever's going on with the medicals. That's clearly the issue here.
Mason Graham, Shedeur Sanders, Will Johnson. First 3 picks for Cleveland.
And a first-round pick next year.
And a first-round pick next year.
That's quite a haul.
Optimism in Cleveland.
Finally, yeah. Producer Tyler loves that. He's a lifelong Cleveland Browns fan. They've even here in the studio.
Gordon, you going corner for the for Vegas here?
I think so. I think it's disappointing that you don't get Will Johnson there. I think you would consider an Ezeraku or a Nick Scorton here, but Trey Amos or Benjamin Morrison. So you guys can help me pick who the best fit there for them.
That's, again, the medical worry with Morrison. If I knew 100% he was healthy, I'll take Morrison.
Yeah, that's what I would do too.
Agreed.
Awesome.
I think they're both first-round talents right there. We talked about Benjamin Morrison on the betting show this morning. A lot of press man coverage. They really like that ability out there with Pete Carroll's defense, so I think that they're going to probably lean that direction is where I would go.
Yeah, let's look in Morrison then.
Morrison.
Love it.
Let's do it.
Love it.
What a talented player.
First-round caliber player.
It's just a hip injury.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
All right, Mason, number 38 overall, the New England Patriots on the clock here. What are you going to do?
Well, I love that you guys left me this one here because I am going to sprint this card in to take Jaden Higgins at 38.
Love that.
Another player that we talked about on the betting show this morning. Absolutely love Jaden Higgins. I like his ability as a first-round talent. Prototypical X receiver, great athlete, great range, excellent ball skills. I think he brings everything to this Pats offense that you would want to see.
And the debate at number 4 for the longest time was, do you take the left tackle, Will Campbell, or do you take the X receiver in Tedero McMillan? They didn't get McMillan, obviously, but you get Will Campbell, and you get Jaden Higgins in the second round. I mean, I love that pick. That's exactly what I would have done,
This is
too.
a little bit like the Los Angeles Chargers last year.
Yes.
Go trench in the first round and see which of the wide receivers falls to you in the second. A guy who I think can give a ton of help to Drake May next year.
Great point, yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
39 with the Bears. I'm making the first of 2 Bears picks. I think I'm looking D-line. I don't know if he's Dennis Allen's type, which makes me worry about it. But I would love to just take Ezeraku here and run with it. That's the only thing I worry about is would he be more appealed towards a Nick Scourton or even a Landon Jackson? That's the only thing. Or do I just say to the wind with it, and either that or I'll just go the other direction and just take a running back. Is it Travion?
Well, because New Orleans could take a running back. There's been a lot of talk about them looking at running backs in this class too.
You know what I'll do? I'll do first to steal it. I'll go with the hot name that a lot of the mainstream has had as RB3 right here. I'll go Travion Henderson here for the Bears.
Yeah, I think they're in on him too. Makes sense for Chicago, who also has a 41st overall pick, who would also still get an really good edge rusher at number 41 overall. But I am here at 40 overall for the New Orleans Saints, who took Kelvin Banks Jr. with that number 9 overall pick. Shout out Ben Lindsay for cashing in on plus 950 for Kelvin Banks Jr. going to the Saints at number 9. 40 here for the Saints. This one's a little interesting for New Orleans here.
Who would Brandon Staley? Brandon Staley's their DC now. Is he an Ezeraku guy?
I was kind of thinking edge here.
Because they just need trench help. If they're going to fully commit to the bit of just not going quarterback, just build the trenches as much as possible.
Yeah.
If they're going to play long term like that.
You know what? I'm going to go off my board. I don't think he's going to go over him. I'm going to go with Nick Scourton. I have Nick Scourton, I believe, edge 3 actually in the draft. So I'm going to go with Nick Scourton here. I think he's kind of what New Orleans would be looking for more than Donovan Ezeraku.
I think that then sets up really nicely for Chicago.
Yes.
And, number 10 overall could have easily been an edge defender. Ezeraku is sitting right there. Let's go and get someone else that can rush the passer in Chicago. All the trade scenarios, they were one of the teams that people talked about in the Myles Garrett sweepstakes before he got his big new deal. I think if you can get Ezeraku here at 41, you're sprinting the pick in if you're Chicago.
What a haul. Colston Loveland, Travion Henderson, Donovan Ezeraku.
Yep.
What a haul.
That's a Ben Johnson draft for offense. Then you get, your biggest need on defense too. Short up there, Donovan Ezeraku.
That's an unreal haul if that's what they're going to end up with.
All right, Mason, don't screw over Dalton's Jets here. Number 42 overall. What are you going to do here?
It's a tough one. You would think that they could potentially go with some of the talented secondary players here. They really love to play coverage, and what we saw out of them in where they need to match somebody with Sauce Gardner. I have a really hard time letting a talent like Trey Amos go.
The only tough part of that is in free agency they signed Brandon Stevens to 3 years and 36. I just don't know if they would do it this early. They gave Brandon Stevens starter money.
They did give him starter money. I don't know if he's necessarily the answer there, though. Who are you liking here, Dalton?
I think
they need a pass catcher so bad.
I think you're talking.
Really do.
I think if you didn't take Higgins with New England, I would have gone Higgins here. I think Alec Iamaner makes sense. I think Xavier Watts at free safety makes some sense.
Probably a little rich for a Royal here.
And maybe a Darius Alexander, something like a run stopper next to Quinnen. I've been in on that, getting somebody next to Quinnen. So like D tackle safety. Ellick would make sense. I think if they walked away with either Higgins or Ellick, I think they would feel pretty good. They need an X. I mean, I know we have Josh Reynolds and Al Lazard and all this nonsense. Or again, you go defense, and I think it's either Watts or Darius Alexander.
Is this predictive, or is this what we would do? Because I think Mason Taylor's going to go a lot higher than people think, too. There are some
maybe they really like Mason. That's a thought because there's still Barrett tight end without taking Warren. If you took Mason Taylor, I'd probably just go or even Arroyo. I'd go
range.
You still have nothing at tight
I
end.
agree with you there. I think A.O. Manor is going to be probably a great fit for them. With they do have that dire need at pass catcher. Let's go there with the Stanford wide receiver.
Love it.
Okay.
Alec Iamaner. We interviewed him on the college show too. Awesome kid. I mean, he is I think he had a financial internship. I asked him what his favorite play of his career was, thinking he would say the one where he made the helmet catch over Travis Hunter? And he goes, no, it was actually when I was blocking for my running back and I cracked down on a safety. Like, that just shows you the type of football player and human being Alec Ivan is. So love that there for the Jets. Dalton, you are up here with the San Francisco 49ers here at number 43 overall. They took Mykel Williams at number 11. What are you going to do here?
I think I'm with my options here, and with a lot of the interior guys gone already, I'm going to stay on the defensive side. And I have matched in my head before Demetrius Knight with the Niners as the weak side complement to Fred Warner, but I think Carson Schlesinger is going before him. I'm going to go with Schlesinger here as the Dre Greenlaw replacement in San Fran. I'll double up on defense, and Robert Saleh trying to build that thing for their front seven. Other than Warner and Bosa's bare. You got Mykel Williams in the first round. I'll go linebacker Schlesinger in the second round.
Love that. Carson Schlesinger going to San Francisco. I'm up here with the Dallas Cowboys, who made a pretty surprising pick, I would say, in the first round, taking Tyler Booker all the way up there at number 12 overall to fill in for the recently retired Zach Martin. Here at 44, they have the 76th pick too, but I think with the selection of Tyler Booker, do we think they go running back here? I think they're in on this running back class. I think that's where I'm going to lean, because they don't pick again until 76 overall, where I think it'll be a little more dried up at the running back class. I'm going to go with a running back here, and I think I'm going to go with Quinshon Judkins from Ohio State. I think he's next up. I think his teammate will be the next running back taken in Travion Henderson, but I do think Quinshon Judkins won't be too far after that, and I really, really do think Dallas with either 44 or 76 is going to take a running back in this class. I'm going to take Quinshon Judkins here to the Dallas Cowboys.
It's hard to get a read on him, isn't it? Taking Booker all the way up there at 12, trying to figure out what
that means they're going to want to run the ball a lot more.
Whatever. Brian Schottenheimer does want to have balance. I just am curious what the priorities are for the rest of his offense, and I still worry about stopping the run there more than anything in Dallas.
Yeah. All right, Gordon, 45, Colts.
One of the chalk picks from round one. They go and get Tyler Warren like everyone expected. I wonder if this is a spot for one of the two safeties that are still sitting there.
Get Warren's teammate.
Yeah.
Oh, could do that.
Kevin Winston, 33rd ranked player on our board, sitting right there. I think that's an easy pick to make.
Lifelong Penn State fan. I love this draft so far.
Again, medicals. And would he go over Eamon Worry? That's really the big question.
Oh, Eamon Worry is a nice.
Oof. Yeah. The producers did not select Kevin Winston Jr. if you want to change that pick to Nicky Manwari.
I think it's got to be Nicky Manwari. They just absolutely love the talent of, physical athletes right there, and I don't think it gets much better than that.
Yeah, that's a good call. The athleticism there is off the charts, like predicted to go by a lot of people in the first round. Let's lock in Eamon Worry.
All right, Nicky Manwari there to the Indianapolis Colts, breaking my perfect Penn State draft for the Colts. Is fine, though. All right, 46 overall. The Rams here from the Atlanta Falcons pick originally, but Mason, Rams picking 46 overall. What are they doing here?
I think trade this was. What an unreal trade this was.
They really did get a lot of, assets back for that move back there. And I think you hit the nail on the head just a couple picks ago with that. I think Mason Taylor is going to be a guy that goes a lot earlier than a lot of other, than he is on our board necessarily. Tyler Higbee, contract year. He played well off the injury, so that is something to look for. They don't really do a ton of 2 tight end sets. They don't do a ton of 12 personnel, but I think that is a versatility that they do want to have in their game there. I'm going to go with Mason
And we
Taylor.
know last year Sean McVay desperately tried to trade up for Brock Bowers, could not do it. I think I'm with you. I think he's going to be going after one of these tight ends here on day 2.
I love what the Rams did with that trade. They gave themselves so many options, and 46 is still a really good pick. I think you're right. He's sniffing around for tight ends, and that's somebody they would be interested in for sure. Linebacker, corner, also an option there. But he's been looking for a difference-making tight end. If they could develop Taylor into that, they'd be happy.
All right, Dalton, 47 overall. Arizona Cardinals took Walter Nolan in the first round. What are they doing in the second round?
I'm going to tell you right now, they went Ole Miss in round 1. I'm going Ole Miss in round 2.
Love that.
Trey Amos. This team has a needed outside corner. The fact, if they get him at 47 and they just bring these two together on one flight, does that count as low moving costs? If they could just take,
I guess so,
flight,
yeah.
Just take Nolan, take Amos. You got a high ceiling player on the inside. You've got a starting outside corner on the outside. I'm really a big fan of this. If this is how it shakes out for Arizona.
Love that. All right, 48 overall. That would have been a great pick here for Miami. They still have not taken an offensive lineman in this draft after taking Kenneth Grant in the first round. And I think Ariante Ursary fits that outside zone scheme really well. So I'm going to take Ariante Ursary here. Obviously, Teron Armstead's retirement. They could use help at offensive tackle. I think Ariante Ursary fits that scheme really well. And like I said, offensive line's a dire need now with Armstead retiring. I think this is what I'm going to do here for Miami.
It's a lot like, it feels a lot like the Chiefs, where it's just like, get somebody.
Yeah.
Please, just get talent in here somehow, some way. And you're right, it's a solid fit. I would say that.
All right, Gordon, you have a lot of pressure on you at this pick, and you are a Baltimore Ravens fan, so there's probably a lot of you probably want to screw over the Bengals here, but you have a lot of producers back there who are Bengals fans who want you to do good by them here. So what are you going to do here for you now?
I mean, round one, a lot of the Bengals fans wanted Walter Nolan. They wanted interior defensive line help. They take a guy in Shamar Stewart that's like a little bit more of a project. I kind of think they stick defensive line here, and this is one of the guys like a Darius Alexander, TJ Sanders, Alfred Collins, my guy that I love.
Love him. I'm going to throw this one thing that sticks out to me here. There's that Fighting Irish logo next to Xavier Watts there with Al Golden as their DC. Just a thought, just throw out. Sometimes it's about who you know. Now sometimes it's not.
Replacement.
Sometimes it's not. I didn't get Ezraku to the Packers tonight. Sometimes it's not all about connections for as much as I want to do that. But there's a guy Al Golden knows pretty well there on the board at safety.
Defense does feel like the right. It's going to be somewhere in defense with where they are. He's the highest ranked of the, he's higher ranked than the interior defensive lineman. So yeah, let's do it. Let's go the connection to Al Golden and let's take Xavier Watts.
Love that.
And this safety unit has struggled badly ever since Jesse Bates left. It is not just the connection thing, but it's something they desperately. They could even think about Kevin Winston Jr. if Watts wasn't there.
Absolutely.
I mean, that would improve them massively, especially with his tackling ability. But that's a fun one. And this D-line class is so deep too. You'll probably get another one later.
Love that. All right, Mason. Number 50 overall. So Seattle took one interior guy in Gray Zabel in the first round. Do you double up here on interior line considering how big of a need it is, or you look elsewhere here for the Seahawks?
Well, Dalton, I know that you were absolutely probably in love with that pick with Zabel there. Great fit for them, and I think they have to just double dip in the trenches right here on the interior. I think a guy like maybe Tate Ratledge would be a great pick for them. They're going to go double guards, and they're going to be set up and have a pretty strong offensive line moving forward for that new quarterback and that offense the way that they want to build it up. So from the interior, I think we're going to go with Tate Ratledge.
I see either Georgia guy, honestly. Ratledge or Jared Wilson.
This is the fun part about their thinking, and Trev mentioned this during the show, was do they want Zabel at center? They want him at guard? Do they care? Do they figure it out later? They figure it out on day two. If you take Ratledge, all right, Zabel's playing center. That's fine. If they're comfortable either way, super flexible. I love this draft for Seattle and the way it could unfold on day two. I think they're going to be maybe the most fun team to watch tomorrow. But Tate Ratledge, you're set now. You got Ratledge. You've got Zabel at center. And now maybe Haynes or somebody internal at right guard. Maybe take a third one. Maybe go another three picks, three interior guys, maybe one at 52. I don't know.
And the whole goal for Seattle should be to protect Sam Darnold as much as possible. Tate Ratledge with an 88 career pass blocking grade at Georgia. He has been a dominant pass blocker for the Bulldogs throughout his entire career. You do exactly that to protect Sam Darnold if you take him there. And also Seattle also picking number 52 overall, too. Don't forget that. So they have another pick coming up very soon. Dalton, though, first up, you have the Broncos here at 51. What are you going to do?
We have the Broncos here at Mason. All right, you had the Jets and I have the Broncos. Wow, we're sitting in the wrong chairs.
Jahdae Barron, are you off the board? Do they go offense here?
Now we get the running back, surely.
Now we
get
the Broncos' next pick is at 85 though. With the running back depth, this is where I think about I might want a receiver or a tight end now, and then maybe a running back at 85.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. The class at running back is just so deep. You're going to get contributors and playmakers well into the third, fourth, fifth round.
Jalen Noel, maybe?
Jack Besh.
Kyle Williams feels like a nice.
Kyle Williams, yeah.
Kyle Williams would be another good.
Elijah Arroyo.
When I drafted for the Broncos in our 32 analyst mock draft available on PFF.com, the guy that I targeted here was Jalen Royals. I really like the potential in that Sean Payton offense.
Yeah, I can see that. It's a good call, too.
I'll ride with you. You're the Bronco fan. Let's do it. Jalen Royals.
Love it.
It was one of these receivers, some sort of weapon. I think weaponry with Barron already in now. We don't need to touch the defense again, probably, right? I think day two is going to be about weapons for the Broncos.
All right, I got the Seattle Seahawks here at number 52 overall again. So they doubled up on interior O-line with taking Gray Zabel in the first round of the actual draft, and here in the mock draft we have them going with Tate Ratledge. So I'm going to go away from the interior. This is a tough one. I'm looking right now. at the edges available. Savon Ravel's still available too.
Ravel's nice. They need a start. They need a corner. Ravel is nice. Or you could go edge.
I'm between him. Landon Jackson's still here. Princely Amonmiellen's still here too. This is a tough one. I think I'm gonna go with Revel. I think he's probably going to go higher than any of these guys that are still available right now. So I'm going to go Savon Ravel. I think he's a really talented corner, extremely freaky athletic, and obviously coming off the torn ACL, but I still think he's got a very high ceiling. And getting him there with Devin Witherspoon, that's a really good corner pairing for Seattle.
Ravel and Tariq Woolen on the outside. that's
Tariq Woolen, yeah.
Oof.
Scary combination.
All right, Trevor's Buccaneers here now, Gordon, 53 overall.
He was disappointed not to get the edge in round one. And there's two guys. So I'm looking right now at Trevor did a great job this year putting together top 100 big boards for all 32 teams. There's two top 30 guys still sitting there at edge. There's Braden Swinson from LSU. There's Landon Jackson from Arkansas. Either one of these guys that you think is a better fit there?
I think Trev would say Swinson.
Yeah,
the 2 point. I think Jackson to me is a little more classic 4-3 D end. I think the Bucs would take one of these 2 point edge in the same way that he wanted Ezraku there. 2 point edge rusher, a lot of power off the edge, a bull rush from Swinson. I really like. I think Trevor would say if you're going edge here, Braden Swinson.
I do like the pass rush metrics for Swinson, right? 91.4 pass rush grade against true pass sets.
Yep.
22.1% pass rush win rate. So, I think that's the closest comparison to Ezraku at this point. So let's go with Swinson.
Makes a lot of sense too. Like, it's kind of the opposite of Jackson. Landon Jackson's a dominant run defender, not as great as a pass rusher. Swinson is obviously a great pass rusher. So yeah, it makes sense for number 53 to the Buccaneers. All right, Mason, the Green Bay Packers are on the clock, taking Matthew Golden in the first round. A lot of people thought they still would go defense with needs an edge rusher, needs a corner with the news of Jair Alexander maybe not being there for much longer. Do they go defense here, or do you go with another weapon?
I think that, they did the shocking thing. They took the wide receiver. This might have been the place that I probably would have done it if I were doing it myself, just with some of the talent a little bit further in that day two range. I think it's not quite the drop-off that a lot of people pegged it to be, but as you said, Jair Alexander, potentially not there, tons of injury concerns. I think cornerback is a really, really strong indication here. I like a guy like Darian Porter.
Love it.
Long. He's an excellent coverage corner. He's going to go 90.1 coverage grade last season. He's a receiver turned cornerback, so he has those ideal ball skills, 95th percentile in height and length. I think that those are the things that you want to see out of a really difference-making cornerback that they can get a lot out of.
He's one of the most physically gifted corners I think we've ever seen at the NFL Combine. He ran a 4.3 40, 92nd percentile broad jump, 89th percentile three cone. You mentioned the height and weight is elite as well. And he was fantastic this last year. He had a 4.7 passer rating allowed at Iowa State. That's absolutely ridiculous stuff. So I love this pick. Darian Porter, I think, is like one of my top 35 players in the draft. So getting him here, I think, is a steal for them. So that's a great pick for the Green Bay Packers. Dalton, you have the Chargers again up at 55.
All right, so they went running back. They went at Marion Hampton early. I could either go D-line.
Their tight end, maybe? Elijah Royal?
D-line. This feels like the Arroyo spot to me.
Yeah, think so. We think Arroyo go tight end here, get that receiving threat down the seam, because this was another spot I thought about Kyle Williams as well. But either way, at either position, you get vertical. That's what we're trying to do. Yeah. The other thing I think about is defensive line. Is it Landon Jackson? Is it Omar Norman Lott? Princely, TJ Sanders, I think makes sense. They're going to need some pass rush at some point here. Deep D-line class, so I could keep waiting. We're picking again at 86. You might be right on Arroyo. They have Tyler Conklin, but whatever, right? I mean, Arroyo, it feels like, is a guy who's been destined to go in the first two rounds. We'll go with that. I'm in on that. Hampton and Arroyo, we're just – Justin Herbert's out there smiling somewhere.
Love that. All right, I am up here with the Buffalo Bills at number 56 overall. I think I'm going to do it. I'm taking Kevin Winston Jr. here.
Love it.
For the Buffalo Bills. I think just add blue-chip players to your defense. They got Maxwell Harrison already in that secondary. They had the second worst coverage grade in the NFL this past year. It really was the the reason why the Buffalo Bills might have not been playing the Super Bowl or even winning the Super Bowl is I think the coverage was just horrendous for Buffalo this past year. You got Harrison already, and you get Kevin Winston Jr., who, in my opinion, is a borderline first-round talent. Coming off the partially torn ACL, he's fully recovered from that now. Elite athlete, elite tape in 2023. I mean, he would have been up there with Malachi Starks as the best safety in the draft if he was fully healthy. I think here at 56 for Buffalo, you get another talented player in your secondary. All right, Gordon, Panthers.
Wide receiver in round 1.
Yep.
When we all expected Jalen Walker. It was the one of the most commonly mocked picks. I think here you have to go edge. And I do wonder if this is the Princely spot for like the potential high ceiling as a pass rusher.
Like that. I think it would be.
It's tough because the reason I might consider Landon here is the Panthers' run defense. Their pass rush was also last in the league, but their run defense was historically bad. I do wonder if they would lean Landon or even Darius Alexander for the sake of their run defense. That's a tough.
I don't think you can go wrong here.
It's a tough call. Either way, they need talent. I would expect the rest of their picks in this draft are going to be on defense. It's just a matter if you want to go run stop first or pass rush, right? It's a tough call.
So I think there's a better chance that one of the run stop and interior guys, like maybe a Jamari Caldwell, is there at 74, or my guy Alfred Collins, who I think is fallen a lot further because of some of those injury concerns. So let's get Princely here, and let's get the potential high ceiling as a pass rusher.
Princely, Jadeveon Clowney. They added some free agents inside too that they hope are at least functional. But the Panthers are going to be fun the rest of the way because I don't think I see them taking another offensive player unless it's an absolute steal.
No,
just go the rest of the way. I can't tell you how much I love them taking 10 at 8.
And that's something that you've talked about a lot on this show about. Tet might be the only player that you could take there, and that's something that I highlighted in a few mock drafts. And then you said it on the show tonight, is that they're going to go with multiple defenders for the rest of the way.
I bet Dave Canales probably promised Ejiro Evero saying, "Listen, we'll take the rest of them defense. Just let me have this one guy.
I'll hand you the keys and go to Hawaii. I'm out of here."
You could draft the rest of this draft, but let me just get Tet McMillan number 8 over. I bet you probably promised that. That's a great pick there for Carolina. Houston up at number 58 overall. They did not make an actual selection in the NFL draft, but here in the mock draft, they took Luther Burden III, number 34 overall. Mason, what are we going to do here at 58?
We gotta hit the trenches. We got to go up front. A complete overhaul for this offensive line, Cam Robinson, Laken Tomlinson, Ed Ingram. I'm not sure I'm quite a believer in all of those pieces. I think they just are trying to throw as many darts at the board as they can to find the best 5 that they can up front. We're going to go ahead and add center Jared Wilson here. Just keep throwing darts at the board and trying to get as best of the 5 that we can up front.
Makes sense. Houston's lost 4 more picks, I think, in the day 2 after this one.
I think that trade down was a good move for them too. They can just keep adding pieces. You mentioned it. Just keep throwing darts at it and see where it goes. I mean, Jared Wilson's really good. He's really good. He could start for them right away.
Yeah.
Dawn, you got the Ravens right here. And your boss is sitting right next to me right here. A lot of pressure on you with this pick.
Well, he got Starks. He's been talking all week about getting an edge player. Is there an edge player that appeals to you here?
There is. So my question on edge would be, can you wait until the 3rd round?
Yeah, I think so.
Looking at who's available.
I know who you want then.
There's a guy who
I know who you want. Hold on, now I get it. Okay, so I know who you want then if when nobody steals it from you.
Nobody who's behind the scenes, Gordon is a massive David Walker fan from Central Arkansas. Great player, by the way.
Tremendous FCS tape. What I will say though is you run the risk of Walker coming off the board, but if you look at the guys who are on the board, this is a deep edge defender class. It could be an Ashton Gillotti guy that you get at the end of the 3rd round. The name that's on the board right now is back in the defensive backfield for me. And Azaria Thomas from Florida State. He is a perfect Ravens-style cornerback.
He's so loaded in the secondary now, though.
The second outside corner, I don't know what they are.
Well, I think Humphrey's going back out.
What about?
I think Humphrey at this point in his career is a better slot corner than he is.
The fit with Starks and Ardarius and everything. I think
Jonas Savaiinea, he's still here too.
See, this would be a good Tate Ratledge spot if he was there too.
I think Savaiinea is going 2nd round.
Jonah, but do you think he? This is tough, actually. Or do you want?
I love Azaria Thomas. He's a top 40 player.
It makes sense. I just think they're so loaded in the secondary now with Starks in there. I won't argue. Hell, if you like being that loaded in the secondary,
That's not a bad thing to be.
it's not a bad thing to be. It's still a passing league. All right, let's go. Zaire Thomas.
All right, Thomas.
We're in. Man-to-man cover. Nate Wiggins, Thomas, Humphrey, Starks. I don't know how the hell you're going to throw on the Ravens ever, but I guess that's the idea.
All right. I have the Detroit Lions here at number 60 overall. They a little surprising first round taking Tyleik Williams out of Ohio State because everyone thought we're going to take an edge rusher. I'm taking an edge rusher here. I'm going with one of the edges here. Let me just look at who's available. I know Landon Jackson is still out there.
You going to Ohio State again?
JT Tuimoloau seems like a Detroit Lion, doesn't he? But I'm going to go.
Are you going to have to check the top 30 visits?
No, I'm going to go with Landon Jackson.
Okay.
I think he does fit what they.
I do love him opposite Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah,
it's a good compliment. Jackson's an awesome run defender. The length that he has and the power in the run game, yeah, he's kind of similar like Shamar Stewart, where it's like, can you add any pass rush moves for me? Because if you can do that, you're built like a freak.
Yep.
I could be in on this D-line. They could very well double up on D-line. They just need more.
Landon Jackson. JT Tuimoloau is still on the board here for 61 of the Commanders, Gordon, as well, who took Josh Connolly in the first round.
I was surprised by the first round pick. Like that felt like an Ezraku spot that would have fit really nicely. I think you're probably right, and I think we take JT straight here. But I think I think they want one of this group of edge defenders to fall to them at the 61st overall pick. Dalton, do you have another?
This is the last pick of day two, too.
I already clicked JT. No, I think I think corner Azarie would have been fun here because corner is still in need. But I think off the edge, the D-line makes plenty of sense. They need edge, corner. Maybe they grab another weapon, but I think JT's a perfectly sensible pick here.
Let's do it.
All right, JT Tuimoloau going to the Washington Commanders at 61, Mason 62, the Buffalo Bills on the clock. We have Maxwell Harrison and Kevin Winston Jr. to them right now. Do you go another secondary player, or do you go somewhere else?
I mean, they really could. They need a lot of work in that secondary. Like we've talked about, 31st ranked coverage grade as a team. They were not great particularly, but I think we're going to go a little bit different direction here and get a pretty good all-around linebacker here in Demetrius Knight Jr.
Like that.
I think that's a sneaky good pick for them. That's going to help fill out that group, round them out, and make them a very, very scary front. They could have definitely gone on the edge there, but I don't hate the position that they're in on the edge. So I think that they could even wait just a little bit and get another really good one.
I actually do like that a lot because the Bills, the biggest problem, you talked about the coverage before, is the middle of the field coverage. Their linebackers and safeties cannot cover.
Yeah.
Right, as they are right now. If they got Kevin Winston and Demetrius Knight, even if Knight early on was rotational and you take Terrell Bernard off the field on third downs or Milano off the field, or however you want to do it, I think Knight gives you options there because Dorian Williams can't cover. They struggled over the middle of the field in coverage. So maybe it seems like a luxury pick, but for his specific skill set, I think it fits in there very well.
Absolutely. All right, Dalton. Kansas City Chiefs here at 63. Took Josh Simmons in the first round. Still have 3 more picks here on day 2. What are they going to do with the first one?
I now go over to the other side of the trenches, I think.
Top guy in the big board right there is pretty tempting. I'll say that.
Oh, yeah. It is, but I lean more towards a run stopper. I'm leaning more towards Darius Alexander here.
Either of them, honestly.
I think that's where I'm at. Look, I have Chris Jones. I have that guy who can get after it all the time as a pass rusher. I have George Karlaftis on the edge. Maybe some edge help here, but Jared Ivey maybe seems. I think Darius Alexander. I'm gonna go with that really good run defender from Toledo. He's proven that over and over and over. I know it's in the MAC, but he's a dominant player and a really good athlete. I'll take that as a compliment there to Chris Jones.
All right, Darius Alexander going to the Kansas City Chiefs there at 63 overall. I have the Philadelphia Eagles to round out the second round of this mock draft here at 64. They went with Jahad Campbell in the first round of the NFL draft.
Steal. What a steal.
Yeah.
This could be a Norman Lott spot.
I was just going to say.
Rotational. They love those deep rotations. Give me 25 snaps a game like he did at Tennessee early on. That could be a Norman Lott spot.
I could definitely see this being an Omar Norman Lott spot. I'm just trying to see if there's anyone else that's even remotely high that I could see the Eagles taking. TJ Sanders could be him too. I think we as a company are higher on Norman Lott than the consensus is. I think most people think TJ Sanders is a better prospect.
I like Sanders. I
think he's going to go above Norman.
Same thing. If he takes a year or two to get a little stronger, he can become an every down player. But Carter's going to be out there. Jordan Davis will be out there, and Ojomo will be out there on early downs. You throw Sanders in there on third down, I'm living.
All right, doing TJ Sanders. I think he's going to go a little higher than Omar Norman Lott in the actual draft tomorrow night. So I'm going to go TJ Sanders here. Before we get to the third round of this day 2 mock draft, we got to talk about the sponsor of the show. That is Fabric by Gerber Life. What does your child's future success look like to you? A job they're passionate about, traveling around the world, or just being happy and comfortable? Whatever their journey, you can help make it easier to achieve with a kids investment account from Fabric by Gerber Life. By making contribution to your child's future today, you can help give them the means to pursue their dreams, big and small. Fabric by Gerber Life was designed by parents for parents to make it easy to plan for and manage your family's financial path. With a kids investment account from Fabric, you can start investing in your child's future today. Kids can't invest when they're minors, but a kids investment account allows you to invest on their behalf now, giving their investments more time to grow. It's all online. And set up an account can take you just 5 minutes. Then you can manage your child's account and monitor their investments right from your phone. Funds can be used for nearly anything benefiting your child, from tuition, tutors, to music classes. And when they're adults and out on their own, they can use the funds for anything that they need. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect their family. Start investing in your child today at meetfabric.com/PFFNFL. That's meetfabric.com/PFFNFL. meetfabric.com/PFFNFL. Portfolios managed by Fort Washington Investment Advisors Incorporated. Additional services provided by Apex Clearing Corporation. All investing is subject to risk. Learn more at meetfabric.com. All right, Gordon. Number 65 overall, the New York Giants, who made a major splash on night 1 of the NFL draft, going with Abdul Carter and still grabbing their quarterback of the future in Jackson Dart. What do they do here at number 65?
There's 2 spots I'm looking at here. It's the interior of the defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
It's also the running back spot. Like, is this a spot where a guy like a Dylan Sampson makes sense there?
Mm-hmm.
I do think, though, there's some nice players here on the interior. And I guess the question becomes, do you want a Norman Lott who can generate some pressure for you, or do you want one of the guys who is going to be a more consistent run stuffer in, like a CJ West and Alfred Collins, one of those guys here?
Pass rusher Carter.
I might lean Norman Lott
I think a Norman Lott
next to Dexter Lawrence.
That would be fun,
That would be
right?
Yeah,
terrifying.
it would, because Lawrence is a great pass rusher in his own right, but you talk about 3-tech pass rusher, that's Omar Norman Lott.
Yeah.
It makes sense. You might have to use some other players on early downs, but to throw him in there with that win rate, with that explosiveness next to Lawrence, who demands a double team, Norman Lott's going to get some one-on. And then you got Carter on the other side of him. I mean, you're going to get one-on-ones left and right in that Giants D-line. I think Norman Lott would be a good pick.
That becomes a hard pass rush to match up.
Yeah, it feels like you're building a really fun pass rush here.
Yeah.
The Norman Lott thing that's interesting is just how few snaps he played. Less than 240 snaps each of the past 2 seasons, but an 18.9% pass rush win rate. At this point in the third round, that feels like an easy.
I think
pick.
this is the right range for Norman Lott, and I know Trevor's a little bit higher on him even than I am. I might have him right at number 65 actually on my big board, if I remember that right. I think so. So I think that's what you have is the question. Now maybe it's the Howie Roseman theory. Well, if you want him to play more snaps, just make him do it. But I think as a compliment to Lawrence and everything else going on in that D line, boy, the Giants won't ever have to blitz again. I'll tell you that.
He's 74 on the consensus board right now, so it feels like third round is right now the range for Omar Norman Lott. But I love that fit right there to New York. All right, Mason, the Kansas City Chiefs up at 66 overall took Josh Simmons and Darius Alexander so far. What are they going to do here?
You know, Dalton, you highlighted this one just a second ago, and I love that you did it because I absolutely love the pick here too. We're going to run the card in with Jared Ivey right here. We are going to get a big, strong pass rusher who he doesn't have the most bend, but when you look at some of his grading metrics, 90.8 PFF pass rush grade, 16.8 pass rush win rate, those are things that they need consistency at in Kansas City, and I love the fit here. So.
Does it still feel like he did not? I know there's so many great players in that Ole Miss defense this year. Does it feel like he just never got enough credit?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Yeah.
And even if he's John Franklin Myers and he's a tweener, or maybe some teams think he's a real true stand-up edge rusher, he's just a good friggin' football player.
He just feels like a type of player the Chiefs would love to. Like a George Karlaftis type of body. Like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense there, 66.
Going to knock down some passes as well for them.
Exactly.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Just got a little bit of everything to him.
All right, Dawn, 67, the Cleveland Browns. Mason Graham, Shador Sanders, Will Johnson. One hell of a draft for Cleveland so far. Can you continue it here at 67?
Oh, I sure can.
All right.
These three guys they've taken already, or could take, it's a couple of them. Some of our favorite players from the season, aren't they, on the college show? Let's get another one. Let's get another one of our favorite guys.
Do it.
You already know. That's a Cam Skadaboo.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Cleveland.
Hell
You want a cold weather back? It's Cam Skadaboo. Look, I think they're taking it back at some point, probably tomorrow. I think this could very well be the guy. You want to tackle Cam Skadaboo in the snow in Cleveland? I know he's a Sun Devil, not anymore. He's going to turn into the Snow Devil down there in Cleveland. If you had Mason Graham, Shedeur Sanders, Will Johnson, Cam Skadaboo, that sounds like the All-America team from last year, doesn't it? That's crazy. So I'm going with it. I'm taking the back. I'm taking Skadaboo.
Love it. Love that pick right there. I have Cam Skadaboo RB3 in this draft, so I love that pick there for the Cleveland Browns. Las Vegas Raiders here. We took Ashton Ginty, took Ben Morrison. Again, attacking their two biggest needs for Las Vegas right there.
Ooh, this is a tough call.
I'm kind of looking in a predictive mock. I think Jalen Noel is going to go pretty high in the second round, and he's still here.
There are some good fits here. Wow.
Oh man, this is tough.
I don't know if I can say it. I don't want to influence you too much.
Go ahead, influence me.
Boy, oh boy, I look at Andrew Makuba.
Damn, that would be awesome.
Besh is still sitting there as well. I don't know.
I was looking at Besh too, but I think Jalen Noel's going to go above him.
Okay.
I think Noel's going to go above Makuba too. Even though I love Makuba and I have him higher on my board, I'm in a predictive mock. I'm trying to just get guys I think are going to go in this range. I'm going to go with Jalen Noel here.
Burner in the slot for the Raiders. Geno's living. You want a vertical threat? Geno's got one there in Noel.
Yep. All right, Jalen Noel. New England Patriots 69 overall, Gordon. We took Jaden Higgins and Will Campbell. Again, A-plus draft so far for New England. What do you do here at 69?
I do want to stick on the offensive side of the ball here.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the question is it running back or is it doubling up at receiver? Like, how good do you feel?
I mean, you have Stephon Diggs, you have last year's kids and Kayshon Boutte, and I think running back.
You struggle a little bit for roster spots at receiver.
I've heard a lot of New England people say they like Dylan Sampson. That's an option.
I like the fit there.
Yeah. All right, Dylan Sampson is Chris's guy going there to the New England Patriots at number 69 overall. Mason here, the Jacksonville Jaguars, Travis Hunter, and now they're finally picking again at 70 overall. What are they going to do here?
Well, they were going to take Mason Graham there. That was where everybody predicted them to go. I think we're going to go in the defensive trenches right here. And, I'm eyeing a guy like maybe C.J. West. I very nearly, just because I also absolutely love the player too, almost stole Alfred Collins from me, but I know Gordon would probably fire me. So I'm going to leave Alfred Collins for Gordon somewhere. But I do like the fit of C.J. West here. You're going to get an 88.1 run defense grade. Mm-hmm. Just an excellent, strong player. I really think a little bit shorter, but I think you're going to get a lot out of him there in Jacksonville.
I love C.J. West.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I absolutely love C.J. West. And I'm curious to see Anthony Campanile, their new defensive coordinator, how they're going to run this defense and all the alignments on the defensive line. C.J. West is just awesome.
Remember he and his family were eating when we went to the pizza place at the Combine.
Oh, Giordano's.
Right next to us.
C.J. West,
Giordano's right next to us.
Deep dish, Chicago deep dish guy.
After a hell of a day at the Combine. He had a great Combine and celebrated accordingly with that pizza. Deservingly so, too.
I love it. I think round 3 is when we're going to talk about it. You want a better run defense, you draft C.J. West.
Absolutely.
I'm in on that for Jacksonville. It's awesome.
All right, Dalton, 71 overall, New Orleans Saints. I want to remind you right here, Jalen Milroe is still on the board. And I think he's going in the second round.
I think you have to. I know, so I get the building the trenches thing and setting yourself up.
Is that
71st overall?
I think he's going top 4.
I know, but is Kellen Moore?
I don't know where he's going to go.
Does Kellen Moore want him? Well, this is the problem. Is one of them? This is a real scenario. One of them could just fall until they fall.
Pittsburgh is probably desperately trying to call up the trades and move on.
Oh yeah, if
we're not doing trades in this mock, Pittsburgh is like,
ew, are we getting him all the way to 83 or whatever that is? Because I really don't want to take him here. I hate taking him because I have to. It feels like if they don't, if I didn't take him at 40, maybe I should have. Damn. If I didn't take him at 40, then they're just going to tank it out with Rattler.
Tyler, we're going to restart the mock if that's cool with you.
The Milroe thing as well here is if he doesn't go here at 71, 73 feels like a spot for him. right? Like Justin Fields is in New York. Bring him in there.
You better. And he controls that pick, too. So if you don't want him to go to your Jets.
I just can't let him do it, can I? I just can't let him.
I know we said no trades. It does feel like the spot the Steelers try and get up above the Jets.
Yeah, but not with the Saints. I don't even. The quarterback thing, I don't even know. Maybe I should have just taken him at 40. Should we get him to the Saints just to be like, one way or the other? Maybe the Saints will do it. All right, fine.
I do think he's going in the second round.
Let's bite on it.
I think someone's going to pull a trigger on it.
Fine. Jalen Milroe, New Orleans. I don't know if he's actually going to be Kellen Moore's guy, but if you get him here at 71, you can just let it ride and figure it out as you go. Maybe we won't get a Manning or a Nussmeier to the Saints.
Oh, man. All right, I have the Chicago Bears here at 72. So we have Colson Loveland going, Travion Henderson going, Donovan Ezra-Raku going.
What a draft.
Yeah, and I'm going to continue that right here with Andrew Makuba.
Oh, what a draft.
I'm taking Andrew Makuba here for the Chicago Bears. I freaking love Andrew Makuba.
Good fit.
He is such a good player, versatile player, too. He started off his career as a corner at Clemson. Played safety, true safety this past year at Texas, and he was the most valuable safety in the country according to wins above average metric. So, love Andrew Makuba. He's got the fluidity of a corner already as well. I think this is a great pick here for Chicago. All right, Gordon, 73 overall. Milroe's off the board with the Jets. Do they still go quarterback with Will Howard still here? They love Kyle McCord, too. We know that. They do love Kyle McCord. My guy.
Don't indulge Max like that.
But what do they do here at 73?
Don't Max McCord this early, please.
It's time. The chat have been asking for it for a few picks now. Someone did want them to the Bears. It's Alfred Collins.
Love it. Okay, I'm in on that.
Just stop the run. Just put someone next to Quinnen Williams that can help. Look, Alfred Collins is never going to be a guy. You look at his pass rush metrics, and it's good, not great. Right, 77.8 PFF pass rush grade against true pass sets, 6.9% pass rush win rate. He just defends the run well. He knows how to battle against double teams. If it's one-on-one block, he's able to get in the lane. I'd love this in the third round for the Jets.
I'm in on it. I've been screaming for it. You know me. Please put someone competent next to Quinnen Williams.
I just want to shout out the chat right now. It is 1 a.m. after an NFL draft, and we have over 2,000 people watching us right now.
Love them. Gotta love
true sickos in the chat. I love this.
The fact that you guys are riding with us, that's what makes it so much fun. Absolutely.
That is incredible.
Absolutely.
Love you guys right there. Hopefully we'll interact with the chat a little bit more with some of these picks. All right, next up, Mason, 74 overall, the Carolina Panthers. Tedder McMillan and Princely Amon-Mielen so far. Who's going to pick here at 74?
Well, as we've talked about, we got to keep going. We got to keep hammering the defensive side of the ball, and I'm going to take a player that I absolutely love. So just a little bit of story. When we were doing some of the scouting for the draft guide, if you guys haven't gotten your PFF Plus subscription to get access to the entire draft guide, go and do that right now. You can get 25% off. I watched Nick Emanwari, and then right after, I watched Lathan Ransom. These are two polar opposite players. Lathan Ransom, not really the most athletic. He has a little bit of trouble mirroring and matching, but man, is he a dog. He is a guy who just has a nose for the ball. He anticipates, and he just loves to punch it out. He had the highest run defense grade of any safety last season, and I am loving him here to Carolina. Get some attitude on that defense. Absolutely.
Love that.
Trayvon Merrick, Lathan Ransom. Ransom's a big hitter, too.
Oh, yeah.
He's the hardest hitter in safety in the draft. Absolutely.
Absolutely. He's coming down to play the run. You want better run defense? I mean, you're talking about now. We talked about the debate between pass rush, run defense. I know it's a safety, but you want run defense from safety, it's Lathan Ransom. I'm in on that for Carolina.
Hell yeah. Zachary East in the chat saying that Makuba going at 72 and Alfred Collins going at 73 would be a nightmare for the Panthers. But hopefully he likes that pick right there. Lathan Ransom going to Carolina at 74. Dalton, San Fran on the clock here, 75. Michael Williams, Carson Schwechlinger off the board here. Do you go offense or you continue the defensive train here? Offensive line is still a need for this team.
It is, and I think that's where I'm leaning because if I was going defense again, I would say corner or D tackle, and we're kind of thin there right now.
Savaiinaea is still here, by the way.
Savaiinaea, would they like Bo? Would they like Marcus Bo? He's an athlete.
He is an athlete. He's going to play guard.
Or is the league a slight tad bit higher than us on a Cameron Williams or Charles Grant? I think would be fun developmental. I really like Charles Grant, and I would like him in San Francisco with a year to develop. I don't know what he. I mean, it's still third round, so it's like a 75 a reach. I mean, whatever. But I like Charles Grant. I actually like him probably better than Cameron Williams. Cameron Williams, the pass protection bothers
You don't
me.
think Savaiinaea? Do you think Savaiinaea would fit that?
Jonah would
He's 55.
Jonah would probably go before them.
He's 55 on the consensus board right now.
Yeah, that's the other problem. Is Jonah would go ahead of those guys. Let's do that. Let's get an offensive. We'll take Savaiinaea, and we'll figure out guard or tackle later. But he's got pass protection. He's got footwork. He could work in that scheme. I still think if they waited another round for a Charles Grant or a Cameron Williams, I think the Niners would be a perfect spot. We'll go with Jonah. He's going to go before those guys.
All right. Jonah Savaiinaea going to San Francisco 49ers. Dallas Cowboys with their final pick here on day 2. Took Tyler Booker. Took Quinshon Judkins.
Oh.
If they continue going, I'm looking at receivers right now.
Yeah.
I think
receiver feels like a.
I know you and I don't love him as much as everybody else.
Oh, Trey Harris.
Boy, oh boy, the Cowboys feel like a team that would take Trey Harris.
Yeah, I think he's the next receiver off the board. I really do.
He might go sooner than this, depending. I know he's not our favorite guy.
No, I think you're totally right.
But
I think you're dead on. I'm taking Trey Harris here to the Cowboys.
It's the next X receiver after McMillan, Higgins, Iamainer, and then it's probably Trey Harris. We're talking, right?
The production was insane for Harris as well.
Yeah, it's the same reason with Dart. Yeah,
he set the record for yards per route run in a season for us this year. Even though he missed like 5 or so games, but it was like 5.5 yards per route run.
Yeah, I mean,
outrageous, dude. He literally was getting targeted every single time he was out there.
Size and speed.
Yeah. All right, Trey Harris going to the Dallas Cowboys. All offense draft for Dallas in the day 1 and day 2 for them. 77 overall. Gordon's up with the New England Patriots. Will Campbell, Jaden Higgins, Dylan Sampson, another all-offense draft. You're going to continue that here with the Patriots, Gordon.
We've been all offense. I do wonder if this is where another one of the edge defenders comes off the board. Mm-hmm. Like, are they a team that would like Oladejo?
I actually think so.
Yeah.
I think you have that, like kind of like Mike Vrabel, where this hybrid, what he was playing, hybrid linebacker edge. And he might go sooner than this because the league loves him, apparently, especially his intangibles.
I actually going second round, yeah.
That feels like a Mike Vrabel pick, Oladejo. No?
Let's do it. Yeah, that feels like the Belichick tree.
All right, Oluwafemi Oladejo going to the New England Patriots at 77. Overall, Mason up with the Arizona Cardinals. Walter Nolan, Trey Amos, back-to-back Ole Miss players. Will be another Ole Miss rebel here. Mason at 78, or are you going somewhere else?
Well, hey, let's just stick in Ole Miss.
It's actually not that crazy.
Let's just stick in Ole Miss. I mean,
Chris Paul, you could do it.
They could do Chris Paul. I mean, if it's a potential need, they need a guard in the worst possible way.
Yeah, they do. There's some good guards available too.
Yeah. Who are you guys eyeing on the interior there? I've got a couple ideas here.
Some of the Marcus Milam.
I gotta be honest. I was looking at right tackle. I was looking at Ozzie here. I think Ozzie could start for them at right tackle right now.
I think that's actually a really good pick. Marcus Babau and Wyatt Milliam were two of the ones that I was looking at specifically too. But I do like what you're saying with Ozzie there. 80.5 pass blocking grade. I think that they're really going to need more protection up front. They just had such a struggle protecting.
You know what?
So.
I actually, the more I think about it, it's a good pick because I think Marcus and Bo and Wyatt Milam, they fit more of a zone blocking scheme.
Right.
Arizona runs the highest amount of gap in the NFL.
Waiting for the line. The line was coming eventually. We were going to say it one time tonight with the Cardinals at some point.
That makes a lot. I actually, in Bo and Milam, I don't even know if they fit the scheme really that well. So that's a great pick. I'll just peel over right there. All right, Dalton, 79 overall. Houston Texans, who did they take? They took Luther Burden III and Jared Wilson. We still have 3 more Cardinals picks here Texans picks here on day 2 of the NFL draft. What are you going to do here?
Got to be honest, I'm a little mad. Who was it? Which one of you took CJ West, wherever it was?
I did.
Yep.
Sorry, a little mad at you because I love him for the Texans if they could get him. What did we do? We have Burden and Wilson. I'm not a big Shamar Turner fan. Yeah. And I don't need Kyle Williams with Burden around. Sorry, I'm taking too long. I'm going to go with... There's a player I just had here. I'm gonna dip into this running back class. I'm going to get some depth going here. Give me...
Caleb Johnson? He feels like the next running back off the board.
Dang it. I don't love Caleb Johnson with them.
Yeah.
Shoot. Oh, this is tough.
Someone in chat said Jack Bash to the Texans, even though we took Burden already.
Yeah, I took Burden already. I'm not going to do it. Unless we just go crazy. Dang it. I'll go inside. I'll take Vernon Broughton.
Ooh.
Take Vernon Broughton. I need something inside. I need help inside. Defensive tackle is a super underrated need. I would love my ideal day 2 guy for Houston is CJ West. I want CJ West in the Houston Texans, but we already got him off the board. I'll take Vernon Broughton. I think this is we've talked about this. This is an underrated player that can give you a lot inside.
Yeah, Vernon Broughton, good player. Kind of the forgotten one on Texas' defensive line, but he's a really good player. All right, I got Indianapolis here. We took Tyler Warren and Nicky Manwari so far for Indianapolis. Man, this kind of feels like a Kyle Kennard spot right here.
Ooh, okay. It's doubling up South Carolina. We're just keeping teammates together.
Low living costs. Josiah Stewart's still here. I do love Josiah Stewart.
Well,
Who's going to go higher in the draft? Jordan Birch is still here.
Good player.
Feels like he's going to go pretty high. Jack Sawyer's still here, actually.
Oh, come on, get my guy. Go get him.
Yeah, I'm getting Jack Sawyer. That's my guy. I love Jack Sawyer.
You should have gone tonight.
Yeah. I'm with it. Yeah, I agree. I'm taking Jack Sawyer here to Indianapolis. I think you get Latu the pass rusher, Jack Sawyer the run defender right there. I love that pairing.
Hell yeah.
Those two. So yeah, Jack Sawyer. I think it's actually around the range you go in the draft too. All right, Cincinnati against Cincinnati. Gordon's got Cincinnati
the Bengals
pressure
at 81 overall. Shamar Stewart and Xavier Watts so far. Gordon, what are you gonna do here?
There's an inside man.
I do worry about the fact that we are now 2 picks into this draft for the Bengals and we haven't done anything to protect Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at what they have on the interior, Volson and Cody Ford. Are there any guards here that
Milam and Bo? Those are the two that stand out to me.
Converts. I do like Milam as a tackle
Milam.
convert. Like I know everyone else isn't as high on him. I think if you get him in the 3rd round,
Quinn says Milam also.
There we
ahead
go.
With it.
Let's give something that it's.
Those guys behind the glass deserve one pick.
After 1 a.m., let's give them something.
Wyatt Milam, awesome pick. Love Wyatt Milam.
He had a private workout with the Bengals too. Wyatt Milam could be a Bengals target.
Shout out Blake Michaels in the chat with a super chat saying, "Will Howard to the Steelers or we riot."
Riot. Wow, that's on me. We're gonna riot.
That's on you.
Okay, well,
don't mess it up.
Mason,
I may riot too.
You go with Seattle first. I'm gonna have to consider that threat.
Bray Zabel, Tate Ratledge, Savon Ravel. 2 more picks here for Seahawks too. What are you gonna do here, Mason?
I think we're gonna go at this deep pass rushing class. We're gonna take you mentioned it just a second ago, Max. I'm glad you didn't, because I really like Josiah Stewart. I think that when you look at him, he was the highest graded pass rusher in this class, and on true pass sets, he is a phenomenal talent. And I think that this is going to be an excellent fit for them.
What a great player to fit in that rotation with DeMarcus Lawrence, with Mafe. Stewart can just sneak in on third downs and cause problems. He's awesome. He's really good.
He's a guy, this whole entire draft process just feels like a great fit for that Mike McDonald defense in Seattle.
Well, of course, both former Michigan guys, right?
Yeah.
Find ways to let him rush the passer. Like, McDonald's going to find a way to do that. That 27.7% pass rush win rate. I know he's a tweener between off-ball and edge, but you can find ways to win with him.
Dude, having him as a designated pass rusher is just disgusting.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'd be terrified.
It's exactly why you would take him in this exact spot.
Exactly. All right, Dalton. Blake in the chat is going to riot. I also may riot if you don't take a quarterback here at number 83 overall.
You don't want Kirk Cousins? We just waited.
No, I don't. I do not.
Okay.
Now, here's the question, though. Is it Will Howard, or are we talking Tyler Shuck here in a predicted mock?
That's a problem.
Who do you think is going to hire? I think that's the question.
Probably Shuck, but I don't want to start a riot. Wait, where is this riot? No, don't ask where he lives. That's weird. Don't do that.
I'm going to get his address.
Let's go, Howard. It is 1:20 a.m. and we're getting super chats.
Let's go.
All right, Will Howard,
that's a very
Pittsburgh
good
Steelers.
point.
Let's
That's
go.
a very good point. That's a very good
Shout
point.
out to
Blake
the
in the chat is staying up with us right now. That's a very good point. Will Howard. I actually appreciate that more.
If you get this one wrong, Trevor's going to riot.
That's fine. Trevor, Emeka Buka, Braden Swinson. Who else are we doing here for Tampa Bay? Who are the linebackers available?
Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Let's kind of look at that. I love Chris Paul, dude. He's my number 2 linebacker in the draft, I believe, behind Jahad Campbell. I love Chris Paul Jr. Pooh Paul. He is a phenomenal player. Excellent season. It feels like everyone who transferred to Ole Miss had a career year, and he was no different than that. Transferred from Arkansas, 87 grade this past year, was excellent in basically everything. I am a huge fan of Chris Paul Jr., an elite tackler, too. So, yeah, I'm taking him here to the Buccaneers, who Levante Davis is only a one-year deal right now. He's about 36 years old. They need to find the future of linebacker, and they might do so here with Chris Paul.
We just had another threat of a riot in the chat.
Oh, really?
No.
Someone said if Harold Fannin doesn't go soon, he might riot.
I do think he's going on day 2.
I have good news for you.
This is the fit.
I have good news for you.
I mean, I think this is the fit right here.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Gordon's going to snipe you there.
Gordon's going to snipe me. I should have
Wow.
let him
You don't love the fit?
I don't. Not with Evan Ingram already there. That feels redundant to me.
Do you think they go tight end at all? Like Ferguson?
It would be Fergus. I think for the combo of I think having Fannin and Ingram is kind of redundant. I would also seriously think about Jack Besh here. He's still there.
I don't know if you can go wrong here, taking any kind of weapon.
But I think it would be a more traditional guy like a Ferguson because they already have Evan Ingram, and Fannin's a little weird where you have to find that fit with somebody who's already more of a Y.
Payton would be the one to find it, though. You can get creative, Fannin. I don't hate it.
But even with Ingram already there,
I know.
then you just have no tight ends blocking, really.
How much of Betch's role would be similar to what
Also,
we're gonna
good
get
point in the
from-
chat. We have not taken a running back yet to the Broncos. Ja'Day Barron, Jalen Royals.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of rumors about them taking a running back.
Oh, yeah.
Caleb
No,
Johnson's
okay. So we don't – sorry. We took Royals. We don't need Besh. It's late.
Caleb Johnson's still there.
Caleb Johnson.
R.J. Harvey's still
Yeah,
there.
that's a great one.
Not a
Right
bad
there.
idea either.
Let's do it. Caleb Johnson at this point, 85th overall.
We
That's spot.
will do our best to get Fannin out.
Good call, Mr. Juan. in the
Oh,
chat.
it is late. I forgot that we already took Elijah Arroyo to the Chargers. I was excited to get to talk about Fannin right there as well. But it's okay. He's going to be coming off the board anytime now because he is an excellent player.
Yep.
Let's see.
This the best spot.
I think this is the best spot, right? They just need more receiving talent. They're gonna keep adding to this offense. Excuse me. I really love Jack Betch here, so we're gonna run that card in as well.
TC receiver.
Running back,
Chargers.
tight end, receiver, Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
The Broncos, we got Caleb Johnson to the Broncos tie. And then And then you're going Jack
And Jack Besh.
Yeah.
Packers now. We got Matthew Golden and Darian Porter so far for Green Bay.
That's another one I think about D-line.
Who are the edges
Pass
available?
rush. Kyle Kennard.
Kyle Kennard is available. Jordan Birch. He seems like a Packer. I feel like Jordan Birch is going to go early third round.
What do we think, Kennard or Birch?
I think Birch is a nicer fit
Yeah.
for the Packers.
I think he's going to go higher than Kennard, too.
Jordan Birch, Green Bay.
Jordan Birch.
Let it rip.
All right. Jordan Birch going to the Green Bay Packers. I am up here with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Now this
Travis Hunter, CJ West already.
I might think about Harold Fannin. Liam Cohen loves him some yards after catch.
Yeah, I was looking at it, too. And since we don't want any riots there, we're going to take Harold Fannin Jr. to the Jacksonville Jaguars, getting a tight end, getting another weapon for Trevor Lawrence after taking Travis Hunter at number 2 overall, getting
Highest
Harold
receiving
Fannin.
grade in the nation, highest graded wide receiver or tight end in a number of key categories that we chart here at PFF. So I love the fit.
I think he's the highest graded player in the country.
How cool is it that if we were to get Travis Hunter and Harold Fannin on the same team?
Yeah.
That's just silly. That's awesome.
Liam Cohen would have a lot of fun drawing up plays for those two. All right, Gordon. 89 overall, the Houston Texans. Luther Burden, Jared Wilson, Vernon Broughton. Still 2 more picks for the Texans, too. What are you going to do with one of them?
I feel like we have to go back to the O-line here,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
I like it.
So who's the fit here?
Cameron Williams, they take a swing.
I like it.
It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell because I don't know what Nick Caley's going to run up front. Part of me wants to say Anthony Belton.
I think either of them. It feels like they're going to tackle.
Or do you go Bo and just he's an athlete and you figure out his position when he gets in the building?
I just don't know if he can play tackle.
Doesn't matter. They just need
they need
anything.
guys,
They
I know, but
they just need dudes because you already took Jared. Okay, so they have a center, which is cool.
What other possessions could they be looking at here? Because they are picking at 99. We do have another pick in 10 picks.
I'm in on them getting running back depth. Like, if you took R.J. Harvey, I would not complain at all here. I think somebody behind Mixon, I don't think it doesn't seem like they trust Pierce, Dario Gumbawale. I think in the third, somewhere between the third and fifth round, I kind of need a running back.
R.J. Harvey, UCF?
I think he's the next best one on the board. Yeah, I'm with Trevor on that one.
Highest graded zone runner in the class, and I think, like you said, we don't really know what they're going to run up front at first, but we'll figure it out. I mean,
he had almost 4 yards after contact.
He's just
carry,
good.
so.
He's
RJ
just a great player.
I watch him sometimes. I see a little James.
RJ Harvey, running back, UCF. Next up, Mason, Los Angeles Rams. Mason Taylor, the only player we've taken so far for the Rams. We're going to go here.
Oh, let's see. I mean, we could go a number of different ways. I've really liked them adding some talent at linebacker when I've looked at some of their fits potentially. Definitely early, but God, I love a guy like Jack Kaiser potentially there. Let's go with... Man, this is tough. They could use a corner as well.
Yeah.
I really do like... I like Noel Williams. Noel Williams is a guy that we talked about a lot on the PFF Daily Show, Gordon. Excellent player. He's long. He's going to press man skills. I know that they're not going to run a ton of press man there, so maybe not the greatest fit.
No Williams, Jacob Parrish. I mean, I guess another guy too.
Dorian Strong.
I like Dorian Strong as well. Let's go with Dorian Strong. Let's go with Dorian Strong there. They just need more coverage guys. Like, they've just really struggled on the back end there. And I think getting as many bodies and as many shots out of this thing as they can is a strong move there.
All right, Dorian Strong, cornerback out of Virginia Tech, going to the Rams. Dalton once again up with Gordon's Ravens here. We have taken Malachi Starks and Azaria Thomas so far. We're going to do it 91.
Or what, am I taking David Walker?
You are. I mean, you like the Alfred Collins pick for the Jets. We're going to even out.
Fair is fair. David Walker, Baltimore Raven. Gordon needs it in his veins right now.
94.6 grade this past year. 94 pass rush grade, 92.6 run defense
Absolutely
grade. And he's been elite for 3 years.
When I watched him, I said, FCS Josiah Stewart.
Yep.
Boom. Just there it is.
Mike Renner described his tape as the best FCS tape he's seen from I can't remember if it was a prospect overall or a defensive prospect.
It's hard. He has like a 96 career grade.
Was it Renner? Was it Renner? I also heard that kind of compared him loosely to Brendan Graham.
I think so, yeah.
I've heard that before.
I heard that somewhere. I thought it might have been Renner.
Walker just crosses guys up out there. It's just fun to watch.
Yeah.
He's also the guy. So I feel like in this class, you had the guys at the top who can be dominant pass rushers, and then you've got scheme fit guys. Walker's the other guy who I think goes day 2, day 3, that has a ceiling that is as high as some of the other guys in this class. So I'd love that pick.
Love that. All right, I'm gonna go on the O-line here again for Seattle.
A third one?
Here's the thing. Zabel, interior. Ratledge, interior. I really am scared of this injury situation with Abraham Lucas. And with the amount of outside zone that they run, and with Cameron Williams still on the board here, I think this would be a break glass in case of emergency pick here for Seattle. I think he fits the scheme perfectly. He plays right tackle. Lucas plays right tackle. There's just been a lot of reports coming out about Abraham Lucas that are not encouraging. I'm kind of leaning Cameron Williams. Who are you eyeing?
Oh, I was going right at the top, maybe with Kyle Williams.
The chat is asking for a tight end here.
Tight end, Kyle Williams is going to go probably in the third round too.
If it's tight end, I'm 95% sure I would just take Ferguson next. Yes.
All right, chat is asking for a tight end. Let's do it.
Terrence Ferguson?
Everyone who's still in the chat right now, you guys are the real ones right now. It's 1:30 in the morning here in Cincinnati. So, yeah, we'll go Terrence Ferguson. I will say, though, I think offensive tackle is not off the board for Seattle.
The chat just did? They made a low moving cost pick is what they did.
Great point.
So it's the low moving cost as it could get for a player from Oregon.
Great point. All right. Gordon, up with the New Orleans Saints. We have Calvin Banks, Nick Scorton, Jalen Milroe so far for New Orleans.
Kyle Williams has been in the board too long here.
Yeah.
The style that he plays, that almost a 90 overall PFF grade against man coverage, 2.7 yards per route run, good contested catch guy. He reminds me a lot of Zay Flowers when you watch him play, the kind of like shiftiness that he brings. And this Saints receiving group, there's Olave with the long-term injury concerns with the concussions he's had. I think
Shaheed's on an ACL too, right? Coming back.
Yeah.
They need, as you start to set this roster up, and Milroe, if it's a third-round pick that you get Milroe as, then you're not tied to not taking a quarterback next year. And I think if you come out of this draft with a pass blocker up front and potentially a receiver you can develop, you're starting to set this roster up a little bit for the quarterback conversation next year.
And if you're trying to set it up for Milroe specifically, you want deep threats. Kyle Williams is a deep threat for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Kai Williams going over to the New Orleans Saints. Tyler's Browns here at 94, Mason. We got Mason Graham, Shedeur Sanders, Will Johnson, Cam Scadball. I'll tell you right now, that's my favorite draft. No matter what happens the rest of the draft, that's my favorite draft.
And it's about to get a little bit better here. Dalton's going to like this one, a player that we've talked about a lot upstairs. A real threat out of the slot. Struggled with the 40 time. Everybody knows this, but Xavier Restrepo, they're going to continue to just add great pieces to this draft. And I mean, hey, if they're listening to us, they're going to come away with this thing as the best draft class. So.
Yeah.
You know me with Restrepo. You know how it goes. All right. That's what a class for the Browns there if it actually happens. Kansas City. What am I looking at? Simmons, Alexander, Ivy. I could probably get out of the trenches with this pick, couldn't I? I feel like I need some speed here. Eesh. Kansas City. What do we... any thoughts while I'm sitting here thinking?
Where are they at the running back position?
Pacheco and Hunt. So slow. Like a back with speed I wouldn't hate, but I don't know if I'm going like a Jaden Blue or a Bashal Tootin here. Maybe Giddens. Devin Neal is kind of the same as what they have. I start thinking about corners. Noah Williams is somebody they might like. Noah Williams is someone they could like. They could get real freaky and go Billy Bowman.
Dylan Sampson would have been perfect for them if he was still available. But,
Yeah.
Bashal Tootin.
Is he going this early?
I don't think so, but I mean,
The chat saying Giddens ran a 4.3.
I think Giddens will go around this range.
We'll go DJ Giddens. We'll
Yeah.
get, because I do. That's one thing. The Chiefs, they need a back. They need an explosive back. It wouldn't shock me if they wound up, if he fell to them, if they took Travion Henderson. I think that would fit too. But DJ Giddens, good player, K-State, workhorse, but doesn't have to be in this offense. Maybe give him something out of the backfield. Passing game, I'm living.
Yeah.
The chat is cooking tonight. You guys are making good picks.
Yeah, you're making our lives real
Thank
easy.
Yeah,
right
thank
now.
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
It's
running
late
on,
for us
we're
here.
running on
We're-
fumes. Yeah, I appreciate
Been up
you
all
guys.
day. You guys are killing it out there.
All right, the Philadelphia Eagles are on the clock. We have them taking TJ Sanders in the second round. They already took Jahad Campbell in the actual NFL draft here. There's a couple ways I can go here.
Does Elijah Roberts feel like a pick they would make?
Feels a little early.
Okay.
What about Savion Williams? This kind of feels like the range for him. Or Jacob Parrish.
I don't hate Parrish. Is he gonna? I don't know. Is he gonna play in the nickel?
Well, Cooper DeJean's playing the nickel.
So then we're leaving Parrish out. There's some that think Parrish is a slot.
Yeah, he's probably only a
so
slot only. I'm going to go with Savion Williams here. I'm going to go Savion Williams.
Okay.
I think he's going – I would take him a little probably lower, but I think he's going to go somewhere in the third round. He's just a guy you get the ball in his hands, honestly.
Do we think that he gets drafted by someone like as a potential kick returner in the idea of like
Oh, the easy
touchbacks are coming out to the
That's true.
It's
Cordell
Cordell Patterson. That's what he is. He's Cordell.
Touchbacks come out to 35 now. Like teams are going to kick off, and he strikes me as the type of player that teams who want to be able to return kicks would look at.
He's one of the hardest ones for me to project because honestly, he might be the weirdest player in the whole draft. He's just weird. He's
like a potential running back convert who's 6'5".
Yeah, he's built like a tight end. He runs like a running back. I don't love the routes. I don't. Cordero Patterson's the only reasonable comp I have for that.
All right, Savion Williams going to the Philadelphia Eagles. We got the Minnesota Vikings here on the clock. Gordon, we took so far only Donovan Jackson, actually. This is their only other pick because they didn't trade down from number 24 overall. So what are we doing here at 97?
Tough look.
Dalton, you talked about this during the free agency shows. talked about how much you loved what they'd done on the interior of the defensive line, but it's generally pass rush guys that they've brought in there. Is this a spot where a Jamari Caldwell comes in? Nice big run stuff.
Oh, yeah. Somebody just plug up the A-gaps in the same way you talk about C.J. West. Absolutely, yeah. Jamari Caldwell, just put him in on early downs, take him out, get Allen and Hargrave going, keep the rotation moving up. Yeah, absolutely. I love Jamari Caldwell.
Or even Shamar Turner or Joshua Farmer, too. Those they kind of fit the same role. I think any of those three guys make perfect sense here.
I do like Caldwell the best. I don't mind Turner. Turner's got tools, but it's the same A&M thing where it's like,
very
why
A&M.
didn't you use him? Listen, I love Caldwell. I would probably take Caldwell.
All right.
I'm in on that.
I love the 81.6 PFF run defense grade. I also think he's a little bit better than as a pass rusher than he's given credit for. That maybe he can help a little bit there, but yeah, get him in early downs and then keep your pass rushing interior guys fresh for third down.
All right, Jamari Caldwell. All right, number 98 overall. The Miami Dolphins are on the clock, Mason. You got Kenneth Grant and Ariante Ursary so far. What are we going to do here in the third round?
You know, we need cornerback. I think we thought that they were going to take a cornerback a little bit early. I even wrote that up and then had to trash that because that was not the way that it went. You know, I think maybe a guy like Jacob Parrish here would be a really good fit. We're going to get a guy that is – he's impressive. His top speed, fluid, fast footwork. They need to get somebody that's going to help them to replace what they're going to lose with Jalen Ramsey here soon.
Yeah, I was going to say, are we going to see a Jalen Ramsey trade this weekend? Whether we do or don't, they need corner help.
Yeah,
bad, real
absolutely.
bad. Best corner available, Parrish.
Yeah.
Solid.
Jacob Parrish. All right, 99 overall. Wrapping it up here pretty soon. Houston Texans, Dalton. They have Burden, Jared Wilson, Vernon Broughton, and R.J. Harvey so far.
Oh, and we got Burden. Wow, we've covered a lot of territory here with the Texans.
Yeah, a lot of picks.
Nice job, guys. We're doing a good job with this Texans draft.
5 picks in the top 100.
We did say when we took Harvey, we did say we're probably coming back to the offensive line here.
Okay. Okay, so does this feel like my Marcus Bowe spot? Draft an athlete, we'll figure out where to put him later.
Yeah.
If it's guard, if it's tackle, whatever it may be, just take a guy we can mold behind some other veterans. Marcus Bowe.
Marcus Bowe, probably, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in on that. Okay.
Deal. Marcus Bowe. All right, I'm up here with the San Francisco 49ers. Mikael Williams, Carson Schwessinger, and Jonah Savainea are the 3 picks we have to the 49ers so far. And now they're up here at number 100 overall. And I think what I'm going to do here, I still think they need help on that D-line, even with Mikael Williams in tow already. So I'm going to go to the interior here and go with Shamar Turner, who I think is going to go in the third round of the draft. And, I think this is I think it's actually a little bit probably past the range where I think he's going to go. So another athletic, toolsy guy from Texas A&M. Doesn't have great production at all. Only a 59.4 PFF grade this past year. 76.6 the year before that, though. But like I said, the tools are really, really good for him. And I think he's going to go somewhere in the third round as a D-tackle. So I'm going to take him here to the 49ers. So I just think outside of Nick Bosa, now they have Mikael Williams, of course, too. But they need help in that defensive line everywhere. So I'm going to take Shamar Turner here. Gordon here, Los Angeles Rams at 101. I want to also say Tyler Shuck is still on the board here. Do we think there's a chance that the Rams think about the future after Matthew Stafford with the rumors of him already? I don't know. I just feel like Tyler Shuck is going to go somewhere on day 2, and we haven't gotten him off the board
There's a
yet.
chance. I wouldn't if I'm the Rams because I'm trying to win right now. I'm trying to add as many pieces right now as I can.
Fair.
Or, I think edge depth is something quietly that they could use. I think Kyle Kennard might be something here. Elijah Roberts could be something here. I think Savion Jones even maybe. I think edge depth. Still haven't gone linebacker either. Danny Stutzman for the vibes if you want.
The linebackers that are on the board here, Stutzman, Bassa.
Yeah, I could wait on him.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
I get the thing about that Shuck very possibly comes off the board. I'll also say, though, we frequently hear about guys that, they're potentially going to go in the first round, and then they don't hear their name called until the 4th to 5th round because actually NFL teams didn't like them enough to draft them in the first round. And this is just such a deep class at other positions. So this does feel like we've left Kyle Kennard on the board too long.
Yeah.
13.1% pass rush win rate. I think there's enough there that Kyle Kennard feels like a good pick here.
I think edge depth is an underrated need for the Rams. Behind Verse and Byron Young, they've lost some depth pieces. I think they're going to come away at some point in this draft with a decent edge player.
All right, Mason, take us home here. Number 102 overall. Detroit Lions are on the clock. We had Tyreek Williams and Landon Jackson. So doubling up on the D line there. What are we going to do here at 102?
I really wanted Detroit to be taking my guy Jaden Higgins early at the end of the first there. We're going to take wide receiver here, and we're going to get some talent to possibly replace J-Mo here pretty soon. We're going to take Isaac Tissalal of – I just absolutely butchered that.
Tesla, yeah.
Yeah, Tesla.
Yeah.
I absolutely butchered that right at the end.
Another Arkansas guy.
Yeah. We are going to line him up. Good speed.
Yep.
Tracks the ball well in the air. I think that's going to be something that's going to create a nice transition if they do potentially decide to move away from J-Mo.
Big time riser recently.
He's an odd one because he didn't produce much at Arkansas, but he's a wicked athlete, and I'll tell you, he's got fantastic hands. He catches everything. Vice grip hands.
Willing blocker as well.
Willing
which
blocker.
Feels like
at Arkansas, you could get on the field unless you were blocking.
Dan Campbell would love him.
Yeah, you got to kind of figure out what optimally his role is, but there are tools to work with there.
All right. Wraps up our day 2 mock draft after the first round of the 2025 NFL draft. Shout out the chat right now. We still have 1,400 people watching this stream right now, almost 2 o'clock in the morning here in East Coast time. So really appreciate you guys. Of course, we still have plenty more coverage coming for the 2025 NFL Draft right here on this channel. We'll be going live tomorrow night, breaking down every single pick from day 2 of the NFL Draft at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Time here on this channel. And also on Saturday, breaking down every single pick at noon Eastern Time on this channel as well. And even Sunday, a recap show for you guys, breaking down every single team's draft class. So the PFF NFL YouTube channel is the place to be for the 2025 NFL Draft. Got plenty more coverage coming for the draft. I'm Max Chadwick, Gordon McGuinness, Mason Cameron, Dalton Wasserman. We will see you guys tomorrow night at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Time for day 2 of the 2025 NFL Draft.